Before I talk about the heavy stuff that happened in this episode, I just want to highlight something about Hannah. You see, she kinda reminds me of Kato Megumi from Saikano. How? Well, the way she acts towards Aoi is pretty much the same as how Megumi acted towards Tomoya. From when Saikano started all the way until the movie, Megumi never confessed to Tomoya. But it was as clear as day that Megumi is Tomoya's wife simply from how she acted. Like from day one all the way until the movie ended, all of her movements is basically what you would expect from someone's wife. And she literally won without even confessing. Well, she kinda did, but it was more or less an icing on the cake. And her rivals mentioned losing to her quite literally in the very first episode. As for Hannah, I don't think I have to point this out, but it's pretty obvious that she's basically Mrs. Ashito at this point, given how she's acted thus far towards Aoi. And I don't think anyone watching the show is going to object to that, which says a lot about how natural these two seem to be with their interactions. As for the actual highlight of the day, I really love how they presented the situation between Aoi and his mom. Like, this is as natural as it can get between a mother and son relationship. Like, honestly speaking, it literally feels like the author copied the script straight out of some football player's childhood. I remember watching a Cristiano Ronaldo documentary several years ago, and how Ronaldo's mom reacted when Ronaldo was about to go pro. It isn't far off from what was depicted here in this episode, and suffice to say, this episode pretty much is a representation of what it's like for the majority of mothers out there upon finding out that their son has to leave in order to go pro. Like any loving mother would find it difficult that their boy has to leave, and this line from Aoi's mom, this line basically encapsulates that feeling. I don't know about you guys. I might be running in circles here with what I'm trying to say, but I just love that this show is so well grounded that even the depiction of parental love is given justice. It's just great. I have no words. One might say that all that happened in this episode is that Aoi is finally going to Tokyo. But really, if that's how someone would summarize episode 5 for me, I would call bullshit on that person because it's insensitive and it doesn't do justice with the myriad of emotions that surfaced in this episode. So, yeah, I have nothing more to say. This episode did everything right with what it set out to do, and it just worked perfectly. And with that said, that's basically it for me for this episode. I thank you all for watching and see you guys next week.